Everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Yetsey.
Here.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Saxon.
Here.
Mrs. Tamira.
Here.
Mr. Vaca.
Here. Finalization of the agenda. Is there anything to add and or delete?
The agenda is final as presented.
Thank you. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the written summary of the special and regular minutes for the meetings on July 7th, 2020, July 20th, 2020, July 21st, 2020, and July 30th, 2020.
Move. Second.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, second by Ms. McCarthy. Is there any conversation? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey.
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira.
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you so much. We have two quick items for the superintendent's report, and I will begin with the first. Good evening, Mr. President and members of the Board of Education. Since Governor Mike DeWine announced the details of the requirement of a safe return to schools on July 2nd, this district has worked diligently to implement these requirements. On July 21st, the district announced the Ranger Restart Plan, where students would have in-person and online instruction beginning August 26th. Because of the overwhelming response to our commitment to offer a fully online program, schools needed to make several staffing adjustments. The administration has also been diligent in attempting to honor the requests of families who asked to be reassigned groupings based on challenges with childcare and or transportation. Additionally, last week it was announced that transportation would be available to high school students during the modified school schedule. All of these factors further complicated the development of class rosters, schedules, and transportation routing. Under ordinary circumstances, teachers would have had ample opportunity to review educational records of their students, set up their classroom spaces, and prepare for the delivery of instruction on the first day of school. In order to maintain social distancing protocols, teachers have been displaced from normal classrooms and reassigned to different buildings. Over the past several weeks, the district has experienced a multitude of logistical obstacles, including delays on the deliveries of personal protective equipment and technology. It is critical to our Ranger Restart Plan that staff and students are provided with the instructional technology necessary to deliver appropriate instruction in a blended environment and be given the appropriate tools to be kept safe. With all of these factors in mind, it is my recommendation to delay the start of school by 1 week. I propose the following. Wednesday, September 2nd, high school students report in person and full online instruction begins. Thursday, September 3rd, Group A, students report in person. Friday, September 4th, Group P, students report in person. Of course, Monday is a holiday, and Tuesday, September 8th, all groups would begin regular schedules. The district understands that the challenges will impact childcare and other arrangements, but we are committed to the safe and organized start to the beginning of the 2021 school year. I thank you in advance for your consideration and continued support. And would be happy to answer any questions. Our second report is Mr. Pritt would like to give the board an update on our enrollment as of today. Mr. Pritt.
Good evening, board. I thank Superintendent Ramsey for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about enrollment. Much like previous years, our enrollment numbers are up. This year is a little bit different. Being in the middle of a pandemic, we probably have more withdrawals than we would typically have. But as we sit here today, what we're looking at enrollment-wise outside of our kindergarten and our pre-K, an enrollment increase of about 167 students. That number, again, is offset by just over 100 students move out. So currently, we're sitting about 70 students over where we ended last school year. This number, I would expect, will continue to grow. So as I look at our trends over the last 4 weeks, if we look at the 28th of July, since that point in time, we have actually increased by 90 enrollments just in that period of 3 or 4 weeks. Generally, we find as we, yes.
We're having some technical issues. Can you start?
Okay, would you try that again, Mr. Pritt?
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Excellent.
We need the audio turned, there we go, perfect. So, sorry about that.
Let's
Let's try that again, Mr. Pritt.
It'll be even better this time than it was the first. So as we sit here today, we are looking at an enrollment since the end of last school year of about 167 students enrolling in grades 1st through 12th grade. I've taken out pre-K and K because those tend to skew our numbers a little bit when you look at the fact that we've got over 200 in kindergarten. It puts our enrollment over 400 students. So if we're just focusing on our grade levels 1 through 12, which I think gives us a better picture of where we are, that number is 167. We do have more withdrawals this year than we would have in a typical summer. That number right now is just right around 100 students. So we're up about 70 students over where we were at the end of last school year. I think there's a couple of things that we need to watch for in particular here. Number one, as we get closer to the start of school, we generally see enrollments increase. So when we look back at the 28th of July and we look at where we are now, we actually have 90 more students that have enrolled since the 28th of July than where we were sitting at that point in time. The other piece of that we need to look at is, some of these students that we're losing to withdrawals, we are probably losing because they are looking for a place, maybe a private school that's going 5 days a week. So there is the possibility that when we return to a normal 5-day-a-week schedule, which I know all of us want to do when it's safe to do that, those numbers are going to bounce back to us as well. So a little smaller overall than where we've been the last couple of years, but certainly seeing that continued upward trend in our enrollment for the North Ridgeville City Schools. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Do we have any announcements this evening? Here's an opportunity for hearing of the public on agenda items. If there's anything on the agenda this evening that you would like to address, here's your opportunity.
Mr. Hieronymus, if you could just provide direction when you are ready to unmute.
Yes, because we have a large participation today, we are looking for people to use the raise your hand function in Zoom so that you could then identify that you'd like to address the board, and we will go ahead and unmute you. Okay, so we have one hand up. Let me look for that. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to ask to unmute. Stacey A., you've been asked to unmute your microphone.
Okay, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for delaying that start of the school year, because I know it has been a struggle for the parents and the staff. So I truly appreciate that you're giving us an extra week to figure out everything.
It's our pleasure.
At this time, it looks like we have no more hands raised, so we will go ahead and continue with the board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda resolution as presented.
Moved.
Second. Moved by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by myself. Is there any discussion this evening? call, please.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
and Mrs. Chimera.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Move on to the finance audit report. Ms. McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have two items this evening under the finance audit report. The first one is our typical financial report and report of interest and investments. This is for July 2020. And the second is a 5-year tax abatement agreement with the city of North Ridgeville. And we have an exhibit board that you can refer to. But Mr. East, if you could just say a couple words about that, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely, Mrs. McCarthy. Thank you. First of all, as Mrs. McCarthy said, it is a 5-year agreement with the city of North Ridgeville. Let's take this off. It's effective January 1st of 2020. It's for future abatements of property, of course, abated by the city. What happens, they do a revenue sharing program. We either get 50% of the tax revenue, income tax revenue generated by that business, or we receive our regular real estate tax value and money from that, whichever is less. So in other words, for 5 years, we receive either the 50% of the income tax generated or our real estate tax values.
Basically, as we've done tax abatements in the past, just so that we are all reminded, and so anyone watching knows, we are made full, we are made whole on the taxes, from what I understand, that the district would normally get in lieu of a tax abatement.
If the firm that's abated has enough income tax paid by their workers.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to move that we approve the financial and audit report in one reading, please.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCarthy, second by Ms. Saxon. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chimera,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to other board business. Ms. Tamira?
Thank you. We have one item for your consideration under the education report. The request is to approve the updated 2020-2021 school calendar that moves the first week of school to September 2nd, 2020. I move to approve the education report in one reading.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Tamira, second by Ms. Saxon. Is there any discussion?
Just want to say I appreciate the presentation that our superintendent gave us this evening about the restart plan and the moving of the calendar school year. And I also appreciate the hard work and dedication that all of our staff is putting forth to make it as smooth of a start as possible.
Thank you, Mrs. McCarthy.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Chimera,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll move on to the human resources report. Ms. Saxon?
Yes, thank you. There are a few items for us to consider under the Human Resources Report. 1 certified staff leave replacement appointment, 61 special project supplemental contracts, 1 support staff appointment, 1 supplemental resolution to hire non-certified, non-NREA staff appointment, 8 certified staff adjustments, 2 special project supplemental adjustments, 1 certified staff resignation, 5 support staff resignations, 1 support staff substitute resignation, 1 supplemental contract resignation. Next, we have approval of 2 memorandums of understanding between the Board of Education and the North Ridgeville Education Association and the North Ridgeville Non-Teaching Education Association. These memorandums of understanding are being approved to outline modifications to both collective bargaining agreements related to changes precipitated by the COVID-19 pandemic. I move to approve the human resources items in one reading.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, second by Ms. McCarthy. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Here's an opportunity of hearing of the public on new items. If there's anything you'd like to address the board, here's your opportunity.
We will continue with the hand raise function within Zoom. So if you would like to address the board with a new item, please use the hand raise function and we will go ahead and ask you to unmute. We see Mr. McMillan would like to address.
Quick question for clarity. Preschool. I know we're starting that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Question came up, when is preschool actually starting? Because they're on that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So is their first day going to be that Thursday?
Yes, is from the cabinet table.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other hands raised? Mr. Vaca, we do not have any hands raised, so move forward.
Thank you. It is recommended that the Board of Education enter into executive session to discuss the employment of a public official. There will be no action to follow.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And the recording has restarted.
Okay. All right, it is recommended that the Board of Education adjourn this regular meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Ms. Saxon, second by Ms. Yetsey. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Well.